Hi, I'm Holly and this is Dustin, and together we are the Sasquatters. We decided to live in a school bus because we were tired of paying rent, having excessive bills, and needing to take time off to travel. All right, so this is our tiny kitchen. I'm really into cooking, so it was important that we did kind of like a 3-point kitchen. So the stove's here, the refrigerator's here, and you bounce back to the sink. We added all soft close drawer slides. We did a lot of Rev-A-Shelf things. So our trash can, it slides out like this. We did toe kick storage for all the little things that we don't have room for elsewhere. We have a mostly full-size stove. I think it's 24 inches, so it's plenty of room to do a lot of cooking. We have a cast iron sink, which is really nice and deep, which is nice, doing a lot of pots and pans, things like that. We do have a washer. We didn't go for the washer dryer combo because they're usually ventless drying and they don't really do that great. So we just line dry clothes and we don't have an issue with that. Under the sink, it's pretty regular stuff, but we have slide out things here for all of our containers. And we did a lot of mini appliances, like a little mini chopper. I have a tiny little waffle maker, tiny crock pot, little pasta maker, everything to fit in a tiny kitchen. Over here we have the Simmarine monitor. It tells us our battery percentage. It's a barometer. Pretty much anything you want to hook up to it, it can read. We have our water tank monitor on it, so we know how much water we have. The temperature for our solar area, so we know it's not getting too hot or too cold. I think that's all we have hooked up right now. All right, so we do have a little secret hidden in our wall that most people don't really notice, and that's where all of our spices are kept. And some additional ones down here for oils and whatever else we might need. So the refrigerator, this was actually the second one we bought. The first one was a regular 120 house refrigerator. It was mostly the same size, but we decided to go with this one because it's 12 volt and barely takes up any power. If I had to do something differently about the kitchen, I would probably had put one of the Max Air fans directly above the stove. It hasn't been a huge issue because the window's right here, so it sucks out a lot of the steam and things from cooking, but it would be helpful in the summer. This is our tiny bathroom, and it's literally tiny. We opted for just an inside toilet. Our shower is outside only. For the longest time, we had just a curtain where the door is now, which was fine, but obviously there were times when you'd ask the other person to leave the bus. So recently we were in another part of Arizona where we finally built a door for our bathroom. So this is the bathroom. Like I said, it's very small. We kept it simple. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. We do have the Separate Tiny composting toilet. We've had really good luck with it. It's worked out really good. We never have any issues. Nice small little toilet area. I guess originally we always knew that we wanted to travel and have that freedom, but looking at RVs, we didn't really like the style of them inside. They all kind of looked the same. They didn't seem like they were really that well made. None of them just seemed like they would meet our needs as far as living in one full time. So we were on the internet. We saw that a couple people had converted school buses, and honestly, we were just like, let's just do it. We'll try it out.
Oh, yeah. So when we got on Instagram and we were kind of looking around, it was amazing to see what a massive community of bus people there were. We thought it was only a handful of people doing it, but there's I would say tens or hundreds of thousands of people, and that we had no idea this community even existed.
And it wasn't just people like us. It was full families, single individuals, like everyone. So part of having such a small bathroom was because we decided that we couldn't really go without some sort of closet area. So initially this was going to be where our shower would be, but instead we did add this little closet, which has been nice. Dustin doesn't have a lot of room in here. Most of his clothes go under the bed, but So far, it's worked out. So clothes here, we keep some additional things that we get to often right here. And then this part pulls out for more clothing storage, and also the cat hides in there whenever we're traveling. And then down below is where we keep another bin full of shoes. So this is our bedroom. We have a full-size bed, which has been plenty for us and the cats. It's pretty simple back here too. We did put in a little bookshelf. We like to have all of Audubon books. It's been really helpful when we're in new places and we see, different wildlife and things that we want to learn about. We put in a desk that pops up. You can just slide the chair over. It's super nice when we edit photos. Sometimes I just sit there and read. And we have storage under the bed. We actually have our water tanks, our batteries, and we cram just about everything we can under there just to maximize storage. But one of my favorite parts is the skull lamp. It's actually a real skull that came from, I think, India. They hand carved them, but it kind of just really set off the bedroom look for us. At the foot of our bed, we have a computer monitor that's hooked up to the computer we have in the back of the bus. It actually ties into the monitor in the front, so if we wanted to, we could be sitting in different parts of the bus and still be watching the same thing. We could play video games at different ends of the bus together, so it's been fun to have that. So other than our mini split for heat, we also have this Dickinson. It's technically a marine heater. We found that a lot of boat things fit really well in buses. So this is like 12,000 BTUs propane heat. It can really warm up the place quick. And below that we have a air purifier, which has been really nice. We find ourselves in the desert a lot lately, and there's constantly dust blowing around. Even after driving the bus, sometimes there's like a little bit of exhaust that creeps in here and there, and it's just nice to have an air purifier. So this is our living room. It's also fairly simple. We have a couch on each side. We wanted it that way so we could set up a table and look at each other while we eat. We like to play a lot of board games, things like that, so we wanted to be able to have people on both sides of the bus. They do pull together to form, I think, a full-size bed. We've had a friend that used it quite often. It works out really well. Up front we have another computer monitor that's linked up to the one that's in the bedroom. And we have our ferns up front, and I have a succulent garden over here that I just love. And we built in a cat bed at the front. The cats really like to be on that. When we're driving, they like to lay in the sun up there. Underneath the couches is mostly just additional kitchen storage. Under the big one is a lot of ramen, honestly, extra cups and things like that. And the other side is all like baking things, mostly just kitchen food storage because we don't have too much other space in the kitchen itself for it. So living together in the bus has not been very difficult for us. Our first apartment together was pretty large, but the second place we lived in together was fairly small, so it didn't feel like a huge transition. We're really close to begin with though, so I don't know, it worked for us.
Yeah, before we did build the bathroom door, we were asking each other to go outside when we had to poop, but other than that, we're very close. It was not long that I was dating Holly before we bought a bus and we started downsizing, so I would say just do it. People spend so many years of their lives planning to do things that never come to fruition, or waiting and working until the age of retirement and then not being able to do the things that they planned for all those years. Literally just do it. We talked about building a bus. We bought plane tickets that night. And the next week we went to Florida to pick up our bus and started building it.
Yeah, the hardest part is just making that first step. So if there's anything that you want to do, if you want to live this lifestyle, just go for it. Just take the first leap and go from there.
We actually were saving our receipts for the entire build to add it up, but we built the bus like 3 times inside, learning how to do things properly, learning how to do plumbing, redoing walls, tearing down the ceiling, putting in a new ceiling, all very visible from our Instagram. And so when it come time to add up all the receipts, we threw them away because it was irrelevant. The price that it cost to build this bus as is would not properly reflect the cost that it actually cost us to build it. But as far as money on the road, we build buses now. We posted our bus on Reddit in a woodworking group. It got a ton of support, and we realized that we knew what we were doing, and so we started a business. And now we travel around building buses for people, 40-foot buses. We just did a short bus in Las Vegas. We're headed to South Carolina next week to start a 40-foot bus for a girl who runs a dog grooming business. So that'll be a very unique build. So this is an area we call the garage. It has our Dyson vacuum, hot water heater, all of our solar equipment, which is buttoned up very nice. Before we were building buses, I was doing a lot of computer science type things. Since I was a kid, I've always been doing computer science. And so it was really important to me to have all these wires wrapped up and everything looking really sharp in the garage. In the garage area, we used all Victron components. They're great as far as solar equipment goes. We have inverter, the links, the DC to DC charger for charging while we're driving, as well as 150 70 MPPT charge controller for our 4 solar panels. And we use all rechargeable batteries. It's been great. We never ever have to buy batteries, so we have a little bit of battery storage up here. AA's, AAA's, and then our AA's go into a little case to turn into D cells for flashlights and bigger appliances. Yeah, so for house batteries, we got the Battleborn GC3 batteries. We have 3 of those. We have 810 amp hours total lithium capacity. Yeah, so also above me we have the compressor for our mini split. We use the Mr. Cool DIY. It was a pretty easy product to install. Looking back, we would have probably got the non-DIY version because it's very easy to also just vacuum the lines out and install the typical unit. Then you don't have an extra 20 feet of coil you have to put somewhere. But other than that, it's been great. It's an air conditioner, it's a heat pump, it's a dehumidifier, and it keeps a bus very comfortable. So for our main mode of transportation, aside from the bus, is our dirt bikes. We have 2 Honda dirt bikes. Holly's is a 250, mine's a 300. We got a heavy-duty receiver installed. We throw the bikes up on here. This middle this middle platform is a ramp, and we can just throw the bikes up on there. Takes a couple minutes, ratchet them down, and we're on the road. So for our solar panels, we have 1,020 watts Canadian solar. They're 4 255 watt panels each. They slide out from the rack that we had custom made for the roof. We wanted to maximize storage throughout the whole build, so that also included the roof. We also had these toolboxes made. They house, the gray water tank, our helmets, and winter clothes. Just any kind of bulky items that don't fit in the bus. And we put in these outdoor outlets that pop up. They're waterproof, and it's great for plugging in lights when we're out at a campfire, or sometimes we watch movies outside, so we'll throw up the screen, bring the projector out, and have a movie night out at the fire. So when we moved into the bus, we thought we would have next to no keys, but it turns out we have more keys than we've ever had. One of those keys is for our outdoor shower, which is right here. It's a pretty basic RV shower. We upgraded a few of the components, such as the shower head. It's made out of aluminum. It's a little nicer. We put a rubberized hose on it. We have our on-demand hot water heater. We get hot water in about 10 seconds, and we're showering usually less than 5 minutes. Under the bed, we have 100 gallons of fresh water, which is 2 50-gallon tanks. We wanted to separate it in case there was ever a leak. We could kind of contain half of it before we're dumping 100 gallons under the bed. So in our toolboxes, one of the bulk items we carry is this storage bin, which houses all of our recycling. We typically burn our cardboard and paper when we have fires, but any glass, aluminum, mostly beer cans, honestly, go into this bin, and then we keep it until we find a recycle bin somewhere near. We usually make, I think our trash bags are maybe 10 quarts, and we make 1 bag of trash every 2 weeks or so. So we are currently looking for land. We're not exactly sure where we're going to settle, somewhere between the East Coast and the West Coast. We want to build a shop, find like 30 acres, build like a 4-bay shop and start converting buses and vans, because as we're doing it right now, we're doing it out in the desert or in the woods, in the rain, in the snow.
Someone's driveway.
Yeah, it's rough. So ultimately, we want to find about 30 acres, build a 4-bay shop or so, 3 to 4, and start building buses and vans full time.
Another thing that we want to do is, when we have our own land eventually, is just be able to homestead. I'm really into gardening and fermenting and canning and all that kind of thing. So,
Raising animals,
yeah,
making
we want to have
cheese.
animals and be able to use like our own dairy, all that kind of stuff that we just like doing anyhow. And if we can make it like a lifestyle, then even better. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow our personal adventures on Instagram, we are at Sasquatters. That's SASQUATTERS.
And you can follow our business account at Nomad Nooks, NOMADNOOKS.